Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Z. Alright, cast and crew information down below, and I'll start with the IMDb plot. A family finds themselves terrorized by their 8-year-old son's imaginary friend. Alright, very simple here. Yes, you see the title Z, and you might think zombies or something to that effect. And no, this is an imaginary friend story. Uh, I don't remember. I saw this one over last summer and at a festival, so I probably should have reviewed it then, but I guess I didn't get a chance to. So now it's on Shudder, and I don't remember exactly. I think the director was there, and I think he did say why he named it Z, but I don't remember. I probably could find that somewhere, but it's a little bit of a difficult title to find if you're just kind of searching for Z by itself. Anyway, again, not a zombie film. We have an imaginary friend story here, and I guess it starts off in the typical fashion. You have a young boy, and he starts to see somebody and make friends with somebody who, to everybody else's eyes, is not there. Uh, Z is not a good imaginary friend. He starts turning the boy more aggressive and so forth. And, there's the movie kind of sets up for change towards the end of the movie, and I'm not gonna to give too much of that away. I want that to kind of be a secret. I don't know if you'd call it a total twist, maybe a little bit, but I don't want to get into that too much because I think that kind of spoils what's going on here, and it is kind of the big difference here in this movie as opposed to maybe some other imaginary friend type movies. Um, so I'm gonna try my best not to talk too much about the back half of the movie, or at least when this shift kind of changes, and give that away. So that might shorten up what I have to say here. But really, I guess one of the other things about this film is that it's kind of a scare film. It was going to try to scare you. It's been a while since I've seen that many jump scare kind of movies. Again, I saw this one before, but there is another one I just watched recently, and I'll be reviewing soon. That's kind of the same way. But yeah, they're going to try to scare you in the first half of this movie, or actually throughout, but especially a lot during the first half. And I think they do a decent job of it. There's probably one or two scares where you might have seen before or familiar with other movies, especially with a young kid involved. Um, there's one terrific scene with I'm just gonna say something on the wall. That was at least creepy to say the least, whether they scare you or not. Um, there is a really really good one, um, and it may not be a total scare, more of a shock value here. Um, but I remember at the festival, this was a very talked about scene and a shocking scene to many, and it was one of the first things that people said once the movie ended, was a reference back to this scene. And I'm not going to tell you what happens, but I'll just kind of reference the scene for you. Is you have Joshua here, and because he's kind of turned mean towards the other kids and so forth, there are not too many kids that want to play with him anymore. So his mom, is calls other parents, tries to get the boy able to go and play with somebody else, and she finally finds someone who will allow him to go over. They go over to the house, and the two kids go to play, and the mothers are having a conversation, and then I'll leave it there. Something shocking and crazy happens. Um, you kind of have a feeling that something will happen with the ways the scene kind of sets up, but it's probably a little bit surprising with what actually happens. Um, so definitely one of the scenes that stand out in this film. And like I said, that there are some other scares and so forth in this movie. It has its dark moments and so forth. The acting is okay. Again, it's tough to say a whole lot about this movie because I don't want to give away the ending part. I guess one of the things I didn't like about the film is I didn't mind the switch and change towards the end. When you see the movie, you'll see what I'm talking about. That there's a let's say the mom does what the mom would do. You see your son, and you've seen it in other maybe imaginary friend movies or movies where a boy has or a kid has either taken a doll or taken an imaginary friend on. The parents always have to do their investigating. As I'm saying this, I'm kind of thinking of Brahms, because I had seen part two not too long ago, and as the more the kid plays with the doll, then the mom goes and does research about the doll. So here again, you have a mom that's seeking help. She maybe doesn't do as much research, but she goes and talks with the doctor, and kind of helps figure out what is going on here. So you'll see that the doctor reveals something to her, and then that kind of makes a change in this movie. And I was okay with the change. I liked it. I thought it was an interesting way to go. And then, like I said, that kind of changes the focus in this movie a little bit. And I was fine with all that. My problem here is I thought they spent a little too much time once they made this change. It seemed to drag on that a little bit much, and I looked at how long the movie was, and I thought maybe it went a little bit longer because of this part, but it really didn't. So I don't know. I thought maybe there was a chance to end the movie sooner, but then if they did, then maybe the movie would have been shorter. So I don't know how they would have been able to fill in, and make it a typical movie length. I think it was just like an hour and 20 minutes or so. Maybe they could have added a little bit more in the beginning or so forth, or maybe they felt they had to add these pieces in the end in order to fill the time. I don't know. But I thought the ending part was a little much. Was like they didn't have to take it as far as they did. I think after a short bit, you kind of get the point here. And then they could have just moved to how the movie was going to end. And the movie ends in a little bit of a shocking way. If you're kind of paying attention to once things kind of unravel, if you're paying attention, maybe you can kind of guess how it's going to end. But I thought the ending was fitting. It's just once that change happens, I think it just seemed to drag a little bit, or not drag. I don't want to give the impression that it was boring or anything like that. I just thought they spent a little too much time on it, and it's almost like they starting over. Oh, let me not say that because that might tip it off. But I just thought that part could have been a little bit shorter, and I think you'll as soon as you see it, you'll kind of get the point. And I don't mind them using a little bit of time there to drive in that point. It just seemed like it could have cut it off a little bit, and it becomes a very awkward situation as it is. But hopefully that doesn't ruin it for you guys. Um, this movie is done by the same writer director who did Stillborn. That's still slash born a couple of years ago, and so he has a thing with, I think these are his first two movies if I'm not mistaken, and I guess he's I've seen them both at the same festival, and I guess he has kids, and I guess that's why he writes about kids, because if you remember, the first one was basically about giving the birth and so forth, of twins, and one died, and so forth. So it's more of a baby movie, where this one, the kid is obviously older. But I, for you that have not seen it, I definitely think it's worth seeing. So I'm gonna give it 3 pools of blood. I liked what he did. I liked the imaginary story. I liked obviously that shocking scene, and I didn't think that the scares were too bad in it. And definitely they keep Z as a very dark and frightening character. And again, I liked the twist. I liked the change. I might have given it a little bit better of a score if I didn't feel that ending part kind of went on longer than it needed to. But yeah, 3 pools of blood, and if you haven't seen this on Shudder and you come across this review, I definitely think you should check that out. It's definitely worth watching, and watching in a nice dark setting at night. Hopefully that adds to the scares. Yeah, that's all I can pretty much say without spoiling too much. I don't want to spoil too much here. So with that, as always, horrorgory-reviews.blogspot.com is where you can find more reviews, including some written ones. I don't do only video reviews, even though I've done many lately. You can subscribe to this channel as well for more video reviews. And social media is down below, along with the other information, so you can always talk movies with me there as well. This one or other ones, if there's a movie you want me to see, just let me know, and feel free to hit me up on the comments section here as well. So that is it for Z, and I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.